E168. Life is challenging and difficult. No one gets out alive. Time to suck it up, Buttercup. Get ready for a monster-sized boot aimed to help you get traction on personal change and get living. I am John Curran, your host. Join me as I share my journey exploring the forces that motivate us to change and help us get through whatever life throws at us. A swift kick in the ass. Life on your terms. Welcome to another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass. This is your host, John Curran. Today's topic. Look yourself in the eye when you say that. Pretty commanding, right? Look at yourself in the mirror and say that. I see a lot of people out there these days that are, if they could just hear themselves talk, if they could see what they're saying, maybe they'll hear what they're saying. And a lot of what they're saying is just negative self-talk, telling themselves that they can't do things before they even tried. I think some of the best intentions, people get very gung-ho about creating change in their life, and that's good. It's good to take that first step, right? But you can't just take a step and stop. Another step and stop. Well, maybe you can. But what you really want to what your goal really is to start walking. You don't want to just take step inch by inch by inch. You can do that. Certainly you can do that. And I've done plenty. There is no harm in taking it step by step, moving slowly, being cautious about what you want to do. Whatever it is. But what I'm saying is that oftentimes we make it harder on ourselves, and we tell ourselves that we have to go some prescribed way, when really there are a multitude of ways to get from point A to point B. One of the benefits I think I've gotten from taking on this project of mine, Perseverance, she's about a 60-year-old boat. What I've been learning through that process of actually accepting the responsibility that this is my boat, it's no longer my father's. I can't just pan off the responsibility of getting that motor in shape, getting it operational, and all the things that you have to do when you own a boat. I take full responsibility for that now. I looked myself in the eye and I said, hey, you know what? No one is going to save me from this. No one is going to take this on. No one is going to do the job. And no one's going to do the job as good as I can. Because what I've learned is that, I have my own standards, and I have my own interests, and anyone that I would hire would not have those same interests and the same desire and the same vision that I have. I want to get this boat operational so I can use it. I want to have fun. It's a tool. If you have some project sitting out in your yard or your garage, some toy that you have and you don't ever use it, or maybe it doesn't run, it doesn't start, ask yourself why. Get rid of it or get it working. I think that it may be something that's actually maybe even holding you back. I've had this boat in my life for a long time, and believe me, it sat in the driveway longer than it sat in the water. But I'm fixing to change that, and I'm working to change that. And I think it's kind of a generational change for me, because that boat was my dad's, and it sat in the driveway a lot. He didn't use his toys. I like to use my toys, and the problem is I don't know enough about them to keep them operational. So I have to learn that, and I have been doing that. So keep in mind what you're saying to yourself. Look yourself in the eyes when you say it, and maybe you'll start to not believe yourself as much. What I learned is that when I was going through a really rough time, and it sounds kind of ridiculous, but it works, try pounding your chest like a gorilla, going, I am powerful. I can beat my chest and eat bananas. I don't know. I don't know what you're going to say to yourself, but just that mere act of pounding your chest saying, I am powerful, it really does. It sounds kind of silly, but it works. It absolutely works. So just something to try. And if it makes you feel kind of crazy, that's not a bad thing. Something different. But, tell me if it works or not for you. I'd love to hear it. John at aswiftkickintheass.com. I think I have, just go to my site. I think I have message boards there. Just leave a message. Would love to hear from you. When you are in the midst of change, sometimes they say you have to hit rock bottom. And I don't know how I really feel about that. No one wants to go through rough times. But sometimes you need to go through that rough time to receive that wake-up call and make some change to your life that is desperately needed. I don't want anyone to go through hard times. But you are going to go through hard times. I have. Everyone does. My approach to positive change, it's not for the weak and the timid. It's not for those who are looking for a pain-free, you do it for me type of way. It isn't all fun and games. But what I'm finding is that the joy that I get from accomplishing my goal, I think I've taken on a very mechanical or a methodical kind of approach to creating change in my life. A lot of it right now is related to my project boat that I'm working on, because it offers countless opportunities for challenge. Just getting a bolt out sometimes. One bolt can be a tremendous challenge. But when you dig in and you're like, if I don't get this bolt out, I might as well just trash the unit. And I can't do that because this is a 40-year-old part and I need it. They aren't making any more. So make do with what you have. Isn't that true of life, right? We need to make do with what we have. We need to leverage the resources and everything that we have at our fingertips that we can use to our advantage to better our life. Why aren't you using that if you feel that you need to better your life? We want to keep moving forward. And sometimes that's painful. I mentioned in one of my previous episodes about how my friend, who is a medical doctor, he's a trained forensic psychiatrist, he mentions that therapy is painful. And, if you imagine yourself kind of walking down this hallway, and there's a fire in the hallway blocking your way, that fire is therapy, or it could represent therapy. Sometimes you have to figure a way to get through that fire. And yeah, you might get super burned if you're not careful. But confronting the fire and figuring it out and figuring out how to get around it or through it, that is the reward, because that's the accomplishment. That's the goal, really, is to stop just taking one step and stopping. It's about taking step after step and keep moving forward, flowing like water. I've had an episode on that, actually. Recommend if you're into hiking, or if you want to change your physical health, try hiking. I found that as soon as my boot hit the ground, kind of transported me to another world. I forgot what my troubles were, and I just focused on staying alive. It's tough, man. When you go on a 10-mile hike, you realize, well, 5 miles of it is uphill. When you're on a 10-mile hike to the top of the mountain, it's a 10-mile round trip. 5 miles of it are uphill. It's don't kid yourself. It's tough, but it's supposed to be tough, and not everyone does it. I am a big fan of Vice Grip Garage, and my friend Jason, who I've had on the show, is a mechanic, and he kind of turned me on to this show, Vice Grip Garage. And there's a guy by the name, the host of the show is Derek Barry, and he's a real, just down to earth kind of guy. But what I love about it is it's not just about taking a car that's been off the road for decades and getting it running and driving it home. It's more than that to me. It's using your resources that are available, right? Some people can't afford a muscle car that's been gone through, completely restored, and is like new, but it's 50 years old. It takes time and effort and dedication and a lot of work to get those vehicles into the shape that they are. Not everyone has the money to do that, and time or patience. Not everyone has all that. But what I love about Derek is saying, stop letting that stop you from having fun. Go out there, find a project, and take it on, and have some fun with it. So what if it's a 4-door version of the car that you love in a 2-door version? It's going to drive pretty much the same, and it's going to give you a lot of enjoyment, real time enjoyment. It's going to teach you how to think things through and problem solve. And let's face it, life is one problem after the next, and you're fooling yourself if you think that our problems ever end. Well, after you get through one challenge, another one is going to rise up. That's the way life is. It's full of good and bad, and sometimes we have to go through bad times to get to good times. That's just the way it is. I don't know if there's any absolute rule to it, but things happen, and that's another thing I love about Vice Grip Garage is like, you look, you go through you see the car, you walk around it, you determine kind of what you're up against. First of all, you try to understand the situation that you're up against. You open up the door, you let that air that rushes out from the stale air that comes out of the car when you first open it up and it's been sitting for decades. It's not a nice smell, and I love the way Derek describes it. Like a fisherman's boot in New Jersey during the summer with kittens. I don't know. It doesn't have to make sense, but it creates an image of your mind of what that smell is like. It's part of what he's up against, and he's like, it's fine. It's fine because it's just another problem that you have to address, another challenge that you have to stand up to and take on and get past. Otherwise, you are just going to be stuck in your tracks. You're going to be stuck where you are. You're going to be stuck in the reclining chair, just watching TV and wasting your life away and not really getting much out of life when there's so much that life has to offer when you take on your own terms. I want to say this too, that I know that change is hard. It's difficult. You wouldn't be on a Swift Kick in the Ass podcast listening to me if you thought otherwise. You would have already left by now. But you're here, and you're trying to learn new things. But don't kick yourself because it's hard to change your life. It's hard to change your habits. Things that you do that you don't even think about. They just kind of are. And you have to realize that we don't unlearn things. We learn new things and replace the thoughts with new thoughts or new actions. But we don't really unlearn how to do things. Like, I still know how to smoke a cigarette. I smoked many cigarettes over the years, and it's been probably over 25 years since I had a cigarette. Very, very long time. But I was a heavy smoker, and that was one thing I had to give up, and I did. Do I still know how to smoke cigarettes? Yes. Do I choose not to? Yes. Do I know that if I have one cigarette, I might as well just buy another pack and pick up the habit again, because that's what's going to happen. I didn't unlearn that. I just learned how to get around it and how to keep it away. I don't want to ever go back. I did quit when I was younger. I quit for like 5 years at a time, and then I would decide to go back. But these were conscious decisions that I made, and I accept the responsibility for that. No one else can make those type of decisions for you. And that's something that's been on my path, and something that I tried to share with you, to say, if you want to change your path, you absolutely can. It's up to you, but you have to stand up, for yourself, look yourself right in the eyes, just like you're facing a bully, and have your say, and, look at yourself in the eyes, listen, and try to understand what you're saying. And maybe that will make a difference. Maybe that will knock you out of your funk and keep you moving instead of just standing around with your hands in your pockets, or sitting in the reclining chair, or just feeling terrible. No one needs that. No one wants that. So that's it for right now. Just keep on living your life, keep kicking ass, and keep coming back to my podcast, because I've got more for you. I've got a lot of exciting things planned. Please leave comments. I love to address issues that you think are blocking you. Send me an email, john@aswiftkickintheass.com. Go visit my website. Leave some comments somewhere. I'll try it. Maybe I'll find them. But it's all right. It's all good. Until the next time, this is John Curran on a Swift Kick in the Ass podcast. Peace. This marks the end of another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass, placing it directly in the can. As much as I like to talk, even I have my limits. It's time to go. Catch me on the next show. For better or worse, whether you like us or not, please leave comments wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter. Visit our home on the interweb. I think you can leave me a voicemail there. You can also email me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. It's been my extreme pleasure. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you got your ass moving. Until then, until the next time, I'm out of here. Peace.